All right. Speaking of 2024, in addition to speaking at CPAC, Donald Trump gave an absolutely absurd interview to Fox News' Maria Bartiromo. She will not question anything Trump says. He can get away with anything. He could say, Maria, you're now, whatever. She will not question anything that Donald Trump says. And during this interview, Trump seems to say he's running in 2024. We'll get to that. And also effectively claimed that the death of a January 6th Trump rioter named Ashley Babbitt was essentially a political assassination by a Democratic staffer. This is truly dangerous stuff. Let's get into it.
Well, that's right. And I want to talk about that because Ashley Babbitt, a wonderful woman, fatally shot on January 6th as she tried to climb out.
Now, notice, normally when people are killed by police, people like Maria and Trump defend the police. They say, don't break the law, then you won't get shot. This woman, this wonderful woman, she was there illegally, right? She was trespassing. And if the situation was reversed, they'd be saying, why was she even there?
Of a broken window. Her family has spoken out. Her family has been on Tucker Carlson, and they want answers as far as why this wonderful woman, young woman who went to peaceful protest was shot.
Is anything true? She was there criminally, and it was not a peaceful protest. It's terrible that she died. It's absolutely terrible. But this is revisionist history, guys.
Of any information, there is speculation that this was a security detail in a leading member of Congress's security detail, a Democrat. What can you tell us in terms of who shot Ashley Babbitt? What do you know, Mr. President?
So I've heard that. I will tell you they know who shot Ashley Babbitt. They're protecting that person. I've heard also that it was the head of security for a certain high official, a Democrat, and we'll see because
conspiracies about what took place. And where is the support of the police? Normally, they're all about support the police. And then Maria Bartiromo strongly suggests that it was a Chuck Schumer staffer who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. I have no idea. Could that possibly be true? I don't know. But the speculation is very irresponsible.
Yeah, it's absolutely quite extraordinary. I want you to know that my team reached out to Senator Chuck Schumer's office to check on what he may know about who shot Ashley Babbitt. We have not heard back from Chuck Schumer's office. We did send a note and call. Yeah, what do you think? Do you know who it is, Mr. President?
I wonder why. You know, they talk big and they're real law and order people when it comes to a certain group. But with another group, they can do whatever they want.
One of the most irresponsible interviews I could imagine. And this continues. Here is more of this innocent, beautiful, wonderful woman stuff.
Yeah, that report showed FBI operatives potentially aware, but there are unanswered questions here. What did the FBI know? Why weren't your cabinet secretaries briefed? What did Speaker Pelosi know? Chuck Schumer, McConnell? Do you have any answers to that? They continue to...
How much of look at the gaslighting. Trump instigated the riots and she's interviewing Trump, but it's all about what was Pelosi's role? What was Chuck Schumer's? What are you talking about?
All this armed insurrection, and yet no guns were seized, Mr. President.
Right. There were no guns whatsoever. And yet Antifa, which went into Portland and went into so many other places, Seattle, they took over a big part of Seattle. People died. And there were plenty of guns there, by the way. And in Minnesota and Minneapolis.
Now, in fact, there were stun guns seized, baseball bats, flagpoles being wielded as clubs, even against police. Pipe bombs were planted, pepper spray, and on and on and on. Here is more of Trump rewriting history on the January 6th riots. I mean, look at what is taking place in this country.
Mr. President, you just referred to the 2020 election. I want to refer you to an article in The Federalist over the weekend, and it says new evidence indicates enough illegal votes in Georgia to tip the 2020 results. This is from The Federalist. I want to get your thoughts on what's taking place right now in Arizona and in Georgia with regard to that. What's
going on is nothing, but they're calling them audits.
continue to post and discuss election 2020.
That's right. Well, the Federalists, they have 35,000 votes, and that's far more, numerous times more than we need to win that state.
Yeah. So Trump continuing with that stuff, and then going directly from rewriting the election to rewriting what happened on January 6th. And remember, Maria has the guy who instigated it here. Won't ask about that.
Mr. President, let me move on. The fencing around the Capitol is beginning to come down this week and this weekend. And I know that you have had some time to reflect on what took place on that day, January 6th. Talk to us about what you're thinking about as you reflect. What happened that day from your standpoint?
So there was a big rally called. And actually, when I say big, who knew? But there was a rally called, and a tremendous number of people. The largest one I've ever spoken before was called by people, by patriots.
Notice every rally he's spoken at is like the one that's been most attended in history. Every rally.
And they asked me if I'd speak, and I did, and it was a very mild-mannered speech, as I think has been. In fact, they just came out with a report in Congress, and they didn't mention my name.
That's untrue. That report mentions him dozens of times.
Literally. But what they were complaining about, and the reason, in my opinion, you had over 1 million people there, which the press doesn't like to report at all, because it shows
there were not 1 million people there.
Too much activity, too much spirit and faith and love. There was such love at that rally. You had over 1 million people there. They were there.
You didn't have 1 million people there.
For one reason, the rigged election. They felt the election was rigged. That's why they were there. And they were peaceful people. These were great people.
So Trump completely gaslighting, saying his speech was totally mild. Well, you told them to go and they did exactly what you said. He says they were there for a legitimate reason, which is the election was stolen, which it wasn't. And he says that they were peaceful. There were hundreds of people known to be committing crimes and some unknown that are still being looked at. Okay, real quick, two last things. And one of them is Trump on 2024. Here's Trump lamenting that the Supreme Court didn't steal the election for him.
So this was a terrible blot on our country and our country's history and our country as a, free and fair place. You can't allow this to happen. We were very disappointed by the Supreme Court because they didn't have the courage to take it up.
They couldn't give you the presidency. And he's mad at Pence, he's mad at Barr, he's mad at the Supreme Court. He simply lost and he can't accept it. Now, here's the last thing. Trump on 2024. I think he's saying he's running, guys, from what I'm hearing here.
Republicans against any Democrat. They want to do anything they can to stop that. These are dirty players and it shouldn't happen. It's a disgrace.
All right. So the question is, will you make the run again? You said that you know your answer, but you're not revealing it yet. You ready to get back in that ring and run for president again, sir?
Well, I do know my answer, but I can't reveal it yet. And because that has to do with campaign financing and everything else. You know that. So I can't reveal it yet, but I absolutely know my answer. And we're going to do very well. And people are going to be very happy. Look, I look at cable ratings. I look at the ratings of CNN. They're down.
All right. So he says we're going to do very well and people are going to be very happy. I think he's saying that he's running. Now, he may be lying. He may just be saying it to continue the grifting, to continue raising money. But Trump seems to be saying he is running in 2024. Another bizarre, unhinged interview and hugely irresponsible. If you ever feel like you just don't have enough time to read all the books you want to read, you have to check out one of my favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist takes thousands of popular nonfiction books and distills each one down into an ebook or audiobook that you can get through in just 15 minutes, where you're getting all the key takeaways from the book. Just imagine how you'll be able to expand your horizons and knowledge by being able to soak up all of the important insights from 10 different books in an afternoon. Obviously, it's perfect for exposing yourself to a new book you otherwise wouldn't have time for, or you can use it to revisit a book you've already read, or use it to preview a book before you buy the full version and read it. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way. and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.